All praises is due to the Most High, family. We back with another Acres anime review. I just finished watching episode 1167 of One Piece. And we definitely are getting in. Well, I don't want to say we got a little deep insight. We got a flashback, is what I mean, into some giant lore. And I had been stressing about who this was with Gunko in this hoodie. So we found out exactly who that was in this episode. Family, really quick before we dive in, we are on the road to 200 YouTube subscribers, family. If you're watching this and are not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's free, and we really appreciate it, family. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're with Luffy and Nami and Zoro and Rudo, I think is his name, right? And just because he's really doing whatever, he's kind of got like a humiliation, king thing. So, he just do whatever Nami tell him to, and she like degrades him, and he enjoys it. But so we pull up to the castle, and we notice that the castle's been broken into. Okay, now they didn't break in through this door because Zoro deduces, right? And it's funny, that Luffy and Zoro are not the most directionally talented people. And so to see Zoro do some investigative work was cool, but kind of funny too. And so he's like, nah, okay, they didn't break in through this door, like they busted out this door, right? Like somebody busted out. So, but we use this as an entrance. We go into the castle, and we're looking for this key because Luffy wants to take it back to Loki and let him loose, or at least ask him questions and decide if we're gonna let him loose, right? Now, while we're searching through the castle is where we're getting like more giant lore, right? And so off the bat, family, the biggest one that stood out to me was the true-blooded giants, right? And so they had horns, and they were like twice the size of the giants here, right? What did we find out? Well, what did we find out was that King Harold was one of those giants, and he had horns. Now, we stumbled across his portrait, and we noticed scars, and Rudo explains to us that he removed his horns as to display to the rest of the world. We know his goals, his ambitions were to work with the outside, with other countries, right? The giants were viewed as like this war country, this warrior people. And so he wanted to usher in a time of peace and commerce, right? And so he removed his horns as to display that we're moving on from the old war times, right? This is a new era, a new age. And so that's why he had these scars. Okay, but this is important now because we know that Loki took his life, and we know that Loki is his son. This was a refresher for me. I know we mentioned it before, but Hajrudin is also King Harold's son. But there's a distinction because Hajrudin's mother is not an Elbathian giant. She's a giant from a different country, right? And Rudo's not the only one. He's just an example of like the rest of the Elbathian giants. He mentions like, no, like if you're not you're not a true-blooded Elbathian giant, right? But then Zoro calls him on it. He's like, okay, like if you think Hajrudin's blood has been tainted because he's not a true-blooded Elbathian. Why do you follow him? Why do you work under him? Why do you work with him so closely? And he says, well, not only do they have a long-standing relationship from their childhood, but in addition to that, Hajrudin wants to unite the entire giant diaspora, right? And we even they cut to him at the banquet, and he's saying, and it's so funny because he's basically embodying the giant version of Luffy. He says, I'm gonna be the king of all the giants, right? And all the Elbathians were like, yeah, bro, we're with you, we're behind you, right? So that's cool. And then basically I think that's basically for the most part the lore that we got, right? Oh, and then we got a little bit more from the battle itself. Loki, when he fought Herald, it wasn't just one-on-one. It was a bunch of them. It was hundreds of giants in there fighting, and Rudo said the only two that survived were Loki and Chief Jarul, the one with the sword in his helmet. Then Luffy stumbles across or upon the giants that Gunko and Shamrock knocked, or really it's just Gunko on her own, that Gunko knocked out last episode. Now they still got to find the key, and then they still got to get to Loki. And I think Gunko and who we learned is Shamrock are going to be gone by the time Luffy gets there. Maybe not. I don't know. But, okay, now we're with Gunko and Shamrock and Loki. And we saw that they took out his wolf last episode. And, they're trying to coerce him and twist his arm into joining the Knights of God. Now, the art was really cool. And Gunko's arrow fruit is really strong and really cool, but dang, they have me feeling bad for Loki, and Loki's nobody you should feel bad for. But dang, he's just getting wailed on with the most excellent Sakuga that you could ask for, right? Like, Gunko has all the drip and all the smooth movements, and she's just wailing into him. And he's chained up, locked up. He can't do anything about it. So I'm like feeling bad for him because, but at the same time, he's like egging them on. He's like, wait, no, stop, please. And she says, oh, are you gonna join us? And he goes, nah. Right? So he's egging them on. But Loki is a tough guy. I don't even know, like I said, I mean, we got a crazy cutscene, but I don't even know in the long run, I don't even know if that's really enough to convince him. And then by the end of the episode, really, Shamrock came to the same conclusion. He was like, hey man, we gotta make a change of plan here. This isn't getting us anywhere. Right? So who I thought was Shanks for the past few episodes turns out to be a Shanks relative. I mean, we don't know the exact relation, but Shanks is a Fagarland, right? Shanks is part of the Fagarland family, right? I think that's the family name. And then Garland is one of the 5 elders. Yeah, I think I have that correct. So this has to be like a cousin or a brother or somebody, an uncle maybe. No, I mean, he seems younger than Shanks. It's got maybe it's like his nephew or something. I don't know, but it's not Shanks. I was a little stressed about that, but like a 1-to-1 analog. Like they're almost twins except for the longer hair on Shamrock. But so he turns out to be the commander of the Knights of God, which is weird. Like if you're the commander, why was Gunko doing the recruiting right there then? I don't know, but clearly he's taking over in the next episode. So, which is, I don't know, is Luffy still gonna have enough time? I mean, at least this buys them a little bit more. But I'm gonna leave it there, family. All praise is due to the Most High. Peace and love.